Hello, friends. It's hard to believe that the pandemic has been in our news for a year now. I think back to February of 2020 when we didn't know very much and our government wasn't revealing very much. I remember how even, in fact, in that March, I had school classes at Drew University, and then I flew off to a conference in Dallas. That was the last time that I flew or traveled that far, because that is when things really started happening and we stopped worshiping in person. I think back over this past year, all the things that have happened, the ways that it seemed to drag on and on, the fact that we couldn't have our Easter celebration together, the ways that we thought maybe things will get better in the summertime and being outside and the fresh air would make things better, and that it did a little bit, but not as much as we were hoping. The fact that weddings had to be changed, the fact that as we approached the new school year, so many things were different. And though we worshiped in person for a short time, not very many people chose to. And then, by November, we realized that we couldn't worship together in safety anymore. How disappointing that was and difficult for us to not be able to have our Christmas Eve service. Our year became filled with wearing masks, hand sanitizers, social distancing, things that we had never even imagined or heard of before. And then it was a new year. We thought, well, okay, here we are. Maybe things will get better. And in truth, they have begun to, because people have been cautious and people have been getting their vaccines. And so here we are at the 1-year anniversary. How much has changed? Over 500,000 citizens of the United States have died, including some of our own friends and families and church members. Thousands and thousands, millions more have been sick. But there is hope now. There is hope, and I was able to receive my first vaccine on Ash Wednesday, and am hopeful that on St. Patrick's Day I will be able to get my second. It's a hopeful thing because the more people that get their vaccines, if they're able, the safer we all will be. But we still need to do these things, We need to wear our masks. We need to practice social distancing. We need to use our hand sanitizer. And we need to be careful, wash our hands, and do all of those things that we need to do. It has been a hard year, a sad year, a year full of adjustments and complications, disappointments, tragedies, and hope and beauty as well. The one thing that has been consistent through it all is that our God has been with us on this journey. We know that we have not been alone. Even though it seems that God didn't always answer prayers the way that we'd hoped, we were not alone. We are not alone. As we make our way through this continuing season of Lent, we can trust that we are not alone. We remember that when Jesus was in the wilderness, He was not alone. We remember that through all of the difficult times in our lives, we are never alone. And we can have hope for the future. In truth, we don't know when things will get back to whatever kind of normal there might be. Maybe things will never be normal in the way that we're hoping. And it's true, here we are again in this new year, and we have Easter coming up at the beginning of April. I don't think we'll be able to celebrate it the way we would like, although there will be an Easter sunrise service happening in Katona, at which we can be socially distanced in person. And then we will have spring, and maybe we'll see how things are going. Maybe in May we'll be able to have some worship in person. Hopefully more people will receive their vaccines, and the infection rates will be down. So maybe by June, by July, maybe, and hopefully, and I pray, we will be able to be together again. It's hard not to be with you, our worshiping folks, in person. I know many of you join us online, and for that I am very grateful. And I hope that you will continue to, especially if you don't live in the area. And in fact, many of our online worshipers are not members at either of our churches and don't live anywhere nearby. So that is one of the benefits of technology. And we will continue to live stream and broadcast our worship services. And as I said, I am so grateful for that ability. We do not know what the future will hold. I pray for our safety. I pray that by this summer, we will be seeing the fruits of our hard work, that all of our mask wearing, all of our hand sanitizing, our social distancing, our hand washing, I pray that it will pay off, and especially getting the vaccines. You know, I heard a report on the news that because of our social distancing and our mask wearing, the flu season has been so much better this year than ever. That is one of the good things that has come from our being careful. No, we don't know what the future holds, but that's true all the time, isn't it? We never know what the future holds. All we can do is place ourselves in God's hands and pray that God will guide us and help us. We know that the Word became flesh as God's gift to us, so that we would know that God understands what this challenging human life is all about. The Word became flesh and lived among us. And Christ is among us to this day. Not in the flesh, of course. Although he can inhabit the flesh and the spirit of the people around us. Yes, we carry Christ within us, and we are, in fact, his hands and his feet and his presence to a world in need. As we reflect on this past year, as we reflect on the losses and the sicknesses and the changes and the disappointments, let us also celebrate the beauties, the joys, the gifts that even in these difficult times have been part of our lives. I pray that our days will be filled with signs of hope and blessing. I hope that when you are able, that if you are eligible, that you too will get the vaccine. I pray that we will be able to return together for worship safely. I pray that a new day is coming. We all need that new day. And most of all, I am thankful for God's presence in our lives as represented in these scriptures. For the fact that we are never alone on our journeys, and that no matter what, Christ is with us to the very end and beyond. I pray all of these things in the name of Christ, whose grace, whose love, whose blessing is with us always. Amen.